name of our play is Our Town. It was written by Thornton Wilder and produced and directed by an 8th grade class, with special help from Mrs. Bowman and Brendan Kenny. Now, the first act shows a day in our town, which is Grover's Corners. The day is May 7th, 1901. The time is just before dawn. The sky is beginning to show some streaks of light over in the east behind our mountain. The morning star always gets wonderful bright the minute for us to go down, doesn't it? Well, I guess I should show you how our town lies. Up here is Main Street. Down there is the railway station. Tracks go that way. Polistown's across the tracks and some Canuck families. The Congregational Church and the Presbyterian are down the street a little bit, and the Methodist and Unitarian are across the street. The Baptist is down the hollow by the river, and the Catholic Church is still further down Main Street. And right here is the town hall and the post office combined. The jail's in the basement. Over yonder is the public schools. The high school's still a little further down. In the mornings and noon times and 3 o'clock noon times, the whole town can hear the yelling and the screaming from those 2 schoolyards. And it is our doctor's house, Doc Gibbs. And this is the back door. There's some scenery for those who think that they have to have scenery. And this is Mrs. Gibbs' garden. Corn, peas, beans, hollylock, heliotrope, and a lot of burdock. In those days, our paper came out about twice a week, the Grover's Corner Sentinel. And this is Editor Webb's house. This is Mrs. Webb's garden. Same thing as Mrs. Gibbs, only it's got a lot of sunflowers, too. There have been some lights on in the country, what with milking and so on. But townspeople sleep in late. Oh no, there's still a few lights on. Over in the Polish town where Polismith has just had twins. And Joe Crowell Jr., where he's getting up to deliver the paper. And Shorty Hawkins is getting ready to fly the 545 for Boston. Here comes Doc Gibbs coming down Main Street now. Doc Gibbs died in 1930. The new hospital's named after him. But his wife died a long time ago. In fact, she went to go visit her daughter, Rebecca, who just married an insurance man in Canton, Ohio. But she died there of pneumonia. But her body was brought back here. Now she's buried up in a whole mess of Gibbses and Hershey's. She was Julia Hershey before she married Doc Gibbs in the Congregational Church. Well, as I said, Doc Gibbs just come down Main Street. Got that call at 1:30 this morning. Here comes Mrs. Webb coming downstairs to make breakfast. And here comes Joe Crowell Jr. delivering Mr. Webb's Sentinel.
Good morning, Dr. Gibbs.
Good morning, Joe.
Somebody been sick, Doc?
No, just a pair of twins going over to Polish Town.
Do you want your paper now?
Yes, I'll take it. Anything serious going on since yesterday?
Yes, sir. My school teacher, Miss Foster's getting married to a fellow over in Concord.
I declare. How do you boys feel about that?
Well, of course it's none of my business, but I think if a person starts out to be a teacher, you have to stay one.
How's your knee, Joe?
Fine, Doc. I never think about it at all. Only like you said, it tells me when it's going to rain.
What's it telling you today, Joe? Gonna rain?
No, sir.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Can you ever make a mistake?
No, sir.
I want to tell you something about that boy, Joe Crowell. Joe was awfully bright. Graduated from high school here, at the head of his class. So we got a scholarship to Massachusetts Tech. Graduated head of his class there, too. But the war broke out and he died in France. All that education for nothing.
Get up, Bess. What's the matter with you today?
Here comes Howie Newsom delivering the morning milk.
Morning, Doc.
Morning, Howie.
Somebody sick?
No, just a pair of twins going over to Polish Town.
Twins, eh? This town's getting bigger every year.
Gonna rain, Howie?
No, fine day. That'll burn through.
Hello, Bessie. How old is she, Howie?
Going on 17. Betsy mixed up since the long park starts taking a quart of milk every day. Didn't want to leave him report just the same. It's told me the whole trip. Doc?
Doc. Howie.
Good morning, Howie. Morning, Mrs. Gibbs.
Coming down the street?
Doc's coming down the street, yeah.
Is he? It seems like you're late today.
Yeah, someone on the separator. Don't know what place.
Children, you'll be late for school.
Come on, Betsy.
George, Rebecca. Everything all right, Frank?
Yes, I declare. Easy as cake.
Bacon will be ready in a minute. Sit down and drink your coffee. You can get a couple out. hours sleep this morning, can't you?
This is Westward at 10 and 11. I guess I know what that's going to be about, too. Your son became what it ought to be.
Yes, all told. You won't get more than 3 hours sleep. I declare, you gotta speak to George. Seems like something's come over him lately. I can't even get him to chop me some wood.
Is he sassy to you?
No, he just whines. All he thinks about is that dime baseball. George! George! You'll be late for school!
Yes, Pa?
George, look sharp.
Children, time to get up. Wally, Emily, you'll be late for school.
Ma, what dress shall I wear?
Don't make a noise. I washed and ironed your blue gingham for you special.
Ma, I hate that dress.
Oh, what's up with you?
Every day I go to school dressed like a sick turkey.
Now, Rebecca, you always look very nice.
Mama, George is throwing himself at me.
I'll come up and talk to both of you. That's what I'll do.
I think it's a good time to tell you that we've got a factory in our town. Makes blankets. Starlight's going to burn them a fortune.
Now, children, I won't have it. Breakfast is just as good as any other meal, and I won't have you gobbling like wolves. Wally, put away your book.
By 10 o'clock, I got to know all about Canada.
You know the rules as well as I do. As for me, I'd rather have my children healthy than bright.
I'm both, Mama. You know I am.
Eat your breakfast.
I'm bright too when I'm looking at my stamp collection.
I'll speak to your father about it. It seems to me 25 cents a day is enough for a boy your age.
Mama, I know a lot of things to buy.
Strawberry frostbites, that's what you're gonna buy.
I don't see how Rebecca comes to have so much money. She's more than a dollar.
I've been saving it up gradual.
Well, dear, I think it's okay to spend some money every now and then.
Mama, do you know what I love most in the world? Do you? Money.
Oh, hush up you.
This for a spell.
I don't want any more.
Hurry.
I gotta hurry.
Rebecca, can you tell Miss Foster I send her my best congratulations?
Yes.
Wally, pull up your pants for the knee. Emily, stand up straight.
Good morning, Myrtle. How's your cold?
And I still get a tickling feeling in my throat from time to time. I told Charles I didn't know if I'd be going to choir practice tonight. Wouldn't be any use.
Have you tried singing over your voice?
Yes, but somehow I can't do that and stay on key. Well, in the meantime, I've decided to string some of these beans.
Let me help you. Beans have been very good this year.
Yes, I've decided to put up 40 quarts if it kills me. The children say they hate them, but I've noticed they've been able to get them down all winter.
Now, Myrtle, I'm going to tell you something, because if I don't tell somebody, I'm going to burst.
Why, Julia Gibbs?
Did one of those secondhand furniture men from Boston come to see you last Friday?
No.
Well, he called on me. First, I thought he was a patient waiting on Doc Gibbs, but then he wormed his way right to my parlor, and Myrtle Webb, he offered me $350 for Grandmother Wentworth's highboy, and I'm standing here.
Why, Julia Gibbs?
I know, that old thing. It was so old, I almost gave it to Cousin Hester Willocks.
Well, you're gonna take it, aren't you?
I don't know.
Don't know, Julia. $350. What's come over you?
Well, if I could get the doctor to go away someplace on a real trip, then I'd sell it like that. Oh, it's been my dream to see Paris, France.
Well, what did the doctor say about it?
Well, I've been beating around the bush a little bit and said that if I ever got the chance, that's where I'd put it.
What did he say?
Well, you know how he is. Haven't heard a serious word out of him since we were married. No, he says, might make him discontented with Grover's Corners to go traipsing about Europe. Every 2 years, we take a trip to the Civil War battles, and he says that's enough to treat anybody.
Yes, well, Mr. Webb just admires the way Dr. Gibbs knows everything about the Civil War. Mr. Webb was a good man to give up Napoleon and move to the Civil War. Dr. Gibbs, being one of the greatest experts in the world, just makes him despair.
Yes, every time we go there, we stop at every bush, just as if we were going to buy it.
Well, Julia, if you really want to see Paris, Julia, then you go to Paris. If that's like a hint, really serious about buying it, Julia, you sell it. Just keep dropping hints from time to time. That's how I got to see the Atlantic Ocean, you know.
Oh, I don't know. It sounds crazy. I'm sorry I mentioned it, Myrtle. It just seems to me that once in your life, before you die, you want to see a country that they don't talk English, and they don't even want to. They don't want to talk English.
Now, we're going to skip a few hours. But first, I wanted to kind of scientific account of our town, you might say. So I've asked Professor Willard of our state university to join us. Professor Willard, may I introduce Professor Willard of our state university? A few brief notes, Professor. Unfortunately, our time is limited.
Grover's Corners. Let me see. Grover's Corners lies on the old Pleistocene granite of the Appalachian Range. I may say it's some of the oldest land in the world. We're very proud of that. A shelf of Devonian basalt crosses it with vestiges of Mesozoic shale. And some sandstone outcroppings. That's all more recent. 200, 300 million years old. Some highly interesting fossils have been found. I may say unique fossils, 2 miles out of town at Silas Peckham's cow pasture. They can be seen at the museum in our university at any time, that is, at any reasonable time. Shall I read some of Professor Gruber's notes on the meteorological situation, precipitation, etc.?
I'm afraid we won't have time for that, Professor. May we have a few brief notes on the history of man here?
Yes. Anthropological data. Early Amerindian stock. Cotahatchee tribes. No evidence before the 10th century of this era. Now entirely disappeared. Possible traces in 3 families. Migration towards the end of the 17th century of brachiocephalic blue-white stock, for the most part. Since then, some Slavic Mediterranean.
And the population, Professor?
Within the town limits, 2,640.
Just a moment.
Yes. The population at the moment is 2,642. The postal district brings in 507 more, making the total 3,149. Mortality and birth rates costed by McPherson's gauge, 6.032.
Thank you very much, Professor. Well, very much obliged.
Not at all.
Now, the political and social report from our editor Webb. He's the editor and publisher of our local newspaper. Editor Webb?
Oh, he cut his hand while eating an apple. He'll be out in a minute.
Thank you, Mrs. Gibbs.
Charles, everybody's waiting!
May I introduce Professor Webb? Editor Webb, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't have to tell you that we're running here on a board of selectmen. All males vote at the age of 21. Women vote indirect. We're a lower class breaking on professional men, 10% illiterate laborers. Politically, we're 86% Republicans, 6% Democrats, 4% socialists, rest indifferent. Religiously, we're 85% Protestants, 12% Catholics, rest indifferent.
Have you any comments about our town, Mr. Webb?
Very ordinary town, if you ask me. A lot duller than others. But the young people here seem to like it a lot. They're sitting right down here even though they've been away to college.
Now, is there anyone in the audience who would like to ask Editor Webb any questions about our town?
Is there much drinking in Grover's Corners?
Well, ma'am, I don't know what you call much. Saturday nights in Elder Greenhoff stable, they holler some. We've got 1 or 2 drunks. They only have the remorses when the evangelists come to town. No, ma'am, I'd say liquor ain't a regular thing, except in the medicine chest. For the snake bite, you know it always was.
Is it no one in town aware of...
Hey, excuse me, can you come forward?
Is it no one in town aware of social injustice and industrial inequality?
Oh yes, something very terrible. It seems like they spend most of their time talking about who's rich and who's poor.
Then why don't they do something about it?
Well, I don't know. I guess we're all home like everybody else, where the diligent and sensible can rise to the top, and the lazy and quarrelsome can sink to the bottom. Meanwhile, we do all we can to help those who can't find it, and those who can, we leave alone. Are there any other questions?
Mr. Rabbit, is there any culture or love of beauty in Grover's Corners?
Well, ma'am, not in the sense you mean. Come to think of it, there's some girls that play piano at the high school commencement, but they ain't happy about it. Let's see. Come to think of it, we got a lot of pleasures here. I think it's about time to tell you. We have a lot of pleasures here. We have the sun coming up in the morning, the birds humming, and the season changing. We pay a lot of attention to them.
So I thought. Thank you, Mr. Rabbit.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. Now we'll go back to town. All 2,642 have had their dinners, and all the dishes have been washed. It's like a regular town, like Editor Webb said, and now we're going back to it.
I can't believe I gotta go home.
Bye.
Emily, walk simply. Who do you think you are today?
Oh, Papa, you're terrible. One minute you're telling me to stand up straight, next minute you're calling me names. I just don't listen to you.
Golly, now you gotta kiss him with such a beautiful daughter.
Hello, Emily. Hello.
I made a fine speech in class.
Well, ready to make a speech about the Monroe Doctrine, but the last minute, Mrs. Corcoran made me talk about the Louisiana Purchase instead. I worked an awful long time on both.
See, it's funny, from my window up there, I can just see your headlights when you're doing your homework over in your room.
Why? Can you?
You certainly do stick to it, Emily. I don't know how you can sit still that long.
Well, I always thought of it as just something you have to go through.
Yeah.
I don't mind it really. It passes the time.
Yeah, Emily, what do you think? We might work out a kind of telegraph from your window to mine, and once in a while you can give me one or two of those hints on the algebra problems. I don't mean the answers, of course not, Emily. Just some little hint.
Oh, I think some hints are allowed. So, George, if you could stop, you whistle to me, and I'll give you some hints.
Emily, you're just naturally bright, I guess.
Well, I reckon it's just the way a person's born.
Yeah. But you see, I'm gonna be a farmer on my uncle's farm. He says whenever I'm ready, I can just come over and start working. If I'm any good, I can just gradually have it.
You mean the house and everything?
Yep. Well, I better be getting out to the baseball field. Thanks for the talk, Emily. Good afternoon, Mrs. Webb.
Good afternoon, George.
So long, Emily.
Emily, come over here and help me skin some of these beans. That George Gibbs had a real conversation, didn't he? How old would George be now?
I don't know.
Let's see, he must be almost 16.
Mama, I made a speech in class today, and I was very good.
Good, you must recite it to your father at supper. What was it about?
It's about the Louisiana Purchase. It was like silk off the spool. I'm going to make speeches all my life, Mama. Please big enough?
Get him a little bigger if you can.
Mama, if I ask you a question, will you answer me serious?
Seriously, dear? Not serious.
Seriously, will you?
Of course I will.
Mama, am I good looking?
Yes, of course you are. All much doesn't have good features. I'd be ashamed if they hadn't.
But Mama, that's not what I'm asking. What I mean is, am I pretty?
Oh, Emily, I already told you yes. You have a nice, young, pretty face.
Oh, Mama, you never tell us the truth about anything.
I am telling you the truth.
Mama, were you pretty?
Yes, if I do say so. I was the prettiest girl in town next to that Mamie Cartwright.
Well, Mama, you've got to say something about me. Am I pretty enough to get anybody interested in me?
Oh, Emily, you make me tired. You're good enough for all normal purposes. Now that's enough of that. I never heard such foolishness. Come along now, bring that bowl with you.
Oh, Mama, you don't help at all.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to skip a few more hours. A good deal of time has just gone by, even though it didn't seem like that. Of course it did. But now you can hear the Congregational Church practicing with the choir. All the children are at home doing their schoolwork, and the day is running down like a tired old clock.
Now look here, everybody. Music come into the world to give us pleasure. Softer, softer. Get out of your heads as music's only good when it's loud. Leave loudness to the Methodists. You couldn't beat them even if you wanted to. Now again, tenors.
Emily.
Hello.
Hello.
My, isn't the moonlight terrible? I can't work at all.
Emily, did you get the third problem?
Which?
The third.
Why, yes, George. That's the easiest of them all.
I don't see it, Emily. Can you give me a hint?
I'll tell you one thing. The answer's in yards.
In yards? How do you mean?
In square yards.
Oh, square yards.
Why, yes, George. Don't you see?
Yeah.
In square yards of wallpaper.
Wallpaper. Oh, I see. Thanks a lot, Emily.
My, isn't the moonlight terrible? And with choir practice going on, I bet if you hold your breath, you can hear the train all the way down from Concuca.
What do you know?
Well, I best get back and try to work.
Okay, thanks for the talk, Emily.
Good night.
Good night.
Now before I forget it, how many of you will be able to come in on Tuesday afternoon and sing at Fred Hersey's wedding? Show your hands. That'll be fine. That'll be right nice. We'll do the same thing we sang at Jane Talbot's wedding last month. Now we'll do Art Thou Weary, Art Thou Languid. It's a question, ladies and gentlemen. Make it talk. Ready?
Oh, George, can you come down here a minute?
Yes, well,
George, how old are you?
I'm 16, almost 17.
What do you want to do after school's over?
Why do you know, Pa? I want to be a farmer on Uncle Luke's farm.
Will you be willing to get up early and milk and feed the stock and hoe and hay all day?
Sure, I will. What do you mean, Pa?
Well, I was in my office today. I heard a funny sound. And what do you think it was? It was your mother chopping wood. Yeah, you see, your mother has to get up and cook meals all day long, washes and irons, and still she has to go in the backyard and chop wood. You wear the clothes she keeps nice to you and eat the meals she cooks for you, and you run off and play baseball like she's some hired girl we keep around the house, but we don't like very much. And I just suppose she just got tired of asking you and thought it would be easier to do it herself. Well, I knew all I had to do was call your attention to it. Here's a handkerchief. George, I've decided to raise your spending money 25 cents a week.
Thanks, Pop.
That's not because you're chopping wood for your mother, because that's a present you give her, but because you're getting older, and I imagine there's many things you plan to do with it.
Thanks, Pop.
Where is your mother? Choir practice was never this late before. Traps around the streets at this hour of the night. I don't know why she's in that choir anyway. She hasn't any more voice than an old crow.
It's only 8:30, Pop. Yes, Pop.
Good night, Martha. Good night, Mr. Foster. I'll tell Mr. Webb. I'll know he'll want to put it in the paper.
My, it's late.
Good night, Irma.
Look at the moon, Myrtle Webb. Potato weather for sure.
Naturally, I didn't want to say a word about it in front of the others, but now we're alone. Honestly, it's the worst scandal ever heard in town.
What?
Simon Stimson.
Now, Luella.
But Julia, to have the organist of the church drink and drunk year after year, you know he was drunk tonight.
Now, Luella, we all know about Mr. Simpson, and we all know about the troubles he's been through. And Dr. Ferguson knows too. And if Dr. Ferguson doesn't do anything about it, then all we can do is not notice it.
Not to notice it, but it's getting worse. No, it isn't, Luella. It's getting better. I've been in that choir twice as long as you have. It doesn't happen near so often. My, I hate to go to bed on a night like this, but the children get sitting up to all hours. Night, Luella. Good night.
Can you get home safe, Luella?
It's as bright as day. I can see Mr. Soames scowling at the window now. Honestly, you think we've been to a dance the way the men folk carry on.
You're late enough,
Why, Frank, get in later than usual.
and you stopping at the corner to gossip with a lot of head.
Don't be grouchy. Come out and smell a heliotrope on moonlight.
What have you girls gossiping about? Good night, Julia.
Well, believe me, Frank, there is something to gossip about.
Simon Simpson far gone, was he?
Worse than I've ever seen him. I don't know how that'll turn out, Frank. Dr. Ferguson can't keep him on the job forever.
I guess I know more about Simon Simpson's affair than anybody else in this town. There's nothing we can do about it. Sometimes, some people ain't made for the small town life. There's nothing we can do but just leave that alone.
Oh, no, I don't want to go in there. I'm worried about you, Frank.
What are you worried about, Julia?
Well, I think that it's my duty to make you get a rest and go away someplace. And if I get that legacy, well, I'm going to insist on it.
Julia, there's no sense in going over that again.
Frank, you're just unreasonable.
Come on, Julia, it's getting late. First thing you'll know, you catch a cold. I gave George a piece of my mind tonight. I guess you'd have your wood shop for a while anyways.
Oh, it always seems like there's so many things to pick up. You know, Frank, Mrs. Fairchild always wants more fun clothes. All the people of that part of town do.
They're all getting citified. That's the trouble with them. They haven't got nothing fit to burgle, and everybody knows it.
Get out, Rebecca. There's only room for one at this window. You're already spoiling everything.
Well, let me look just a minute.
Use your own window.
I did, but there's no moon there. George, do you know what I think, do you? I think that the moon's getting nearer and nearer, and soon there'll be a big explosion.
Rebecca, you don't know anything. If the moon are getting near, the guys who sit up all night with telescopes will tell about it. It would be in the newspapers.
George, is the moon shining on South America, Canada, and half the whole world?
Well, probably is.
9:30. Most of the lights are out in Grover's Corners. Oh, no, here comes Constable Warren, coming down Main Street checking a few doors. And here comes Editor Webb after putting his newspaper to bed.
Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Mr. Webb.
Quite a mood.
Yep.
All quiet tonight.
Simon Stimson is still around town. Just saw his wife moving out to hunt for him, so he'll be on the way. There he is.
Hello, Simon. Quite after tonight. For a while. Okay. I guess we better do the same. Well, along with you. Goodbye.
I don't know how that's going, Mr. Webb.
He seems a peck of trouble, one thing after another. Oh, Bill, if you see my boy smoking a cigarette, will you give him a word? Will you? He thinks a lot of you, Bill.
I don't think he smokes no cigarettes, Mr. Webb. This way, it's not more than 2 or 3 yet.
I hope not. Well, good night, Bill.
Good night, Mr. Webb.
there? Is that you, Myrtle?
No, it's me, Papa.
Why aren't you in bed?
I don't know. I just can't sleep yet, Papa. And the moonlight's so wonderful. The smell of Mrs. Gibbs' heliotrope. Can you smell it?
Emily, have you had any troubles on your mind?
Troubles, Papa? No.
Well, don't stay up too late. Don't let your mother catch you.
I won't, Papa.
Good night.
Good night.
I never told you about that letter Jane Crowfoot got from her minister when she was sick. Jane got a letter, and on it, the envelope, the address was like this. It said, Jane Crowfoot, the Crowfoot Farm, Grover's Corners, Sutton Country, New Hampshire, the United States of America.
What's funny about that?
But wait, it's not finished. The United States of America, continent of North America, the world, the universe, the mind of God. That's what it said on the letter.
What do you know?
And the postman brought it just the same.
What do you know?
That's the end of the first act, folks. It'll be a short intermission right now.
My dad just to get married. Did you, Howie?
Can't tell, son. I never had no town that way. You're up early, Bill.
Seeing if there's anything I can do to prevent the flood. River's been rising all night.
Side here's nothing about George Gibbs retiring from baseball.
Well, that's the way it goes. Back in '84, we had a player sign. Even George Gibbs got it. Named Hank Todd. Went down to Maine and became a parson. Wonderful ball player. Howie, how does the weather look here?
Oh, it ain't bad. I think you're doing good.
Good morning, Howard. Do you think it's gonna rain again?
If it rains so heavy, I think maybe it'll clear up.
I certainly hope it will.
How much do you want?
I think I'm gonna need 2 of milk and 3 of cream.
My wife tells me to say that I hope they're both very happy. I know they will.
Yes, tell her I hope she gets there to the wedding.
Yes, she'll be there. She'll be there, she can. Morning, Mrs. Webb.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Newsom. I told you 4 quarts of milk, but I hope you can spare me another.
Yes, sir, and the 2 of cream.
Will it start raining again, Mr. Newsom?
Just saying to Mrs. Gibbs that how am I lighten up?
Yes, and we're counting on seeing you and Mrs. Newsom at the wedding?
Yes, we'll try to get there. Couldn't miss something like that.
Well, Ma, the day has come. You're losing one of your chicks.
Frank, don't you say another word. I feel like crying every minute.
The groom's up shaving himself, only there ain't an awful lot to shave. And every now and then I hear, I do, to the miracle, but it doesn't sound convincing to me.
Frank, I don't know how this is going to turn out. I've arranged his clothes and seen that he puts more things on. They're too young. I mean, who won't think of such things?
I was remembering my wedding morning, Julia.
Don't say that again, Frank Gibbs.
I was the skittish young fellow in the state of New Hampshire. And when I saw you coming down the aisle, I thought you were the prettiest young girl that I'd ever seen. Well, I'd never seen you before. There I was in the Congregational Church marrying a total stranger.
And how do you think I felt, Frank? Weddings are awful things. Farces, that's what they are. Here, I made something for you.
By Julia Hershey, French toast.
It ain't hard to make, and I had to do something.
How'd you sleep last night, Julia?
Not very well.
Yes, I get a shock every time I think of George setting up to be a family man. That great gang thing. The relationship between the father and the son is the most darndest and awkwardest.
Don't have many troubles.
I suppose. That's none of our business. Well, there's nothing we can do but just leave that alone.
Yes, you're meant to go through life 2 by 2. It ain't natural to be lonesome.
You know one of the things that I was scared of when we had our wedding?
Oh, hush up with you.
I was scared we wouldn't have enough material for conversation that would last more than a few weeks. I was afraid we'd run out and eat our meals in silence.
Oh, well, good weather, bad weather, but I always find something to say. Did you hear Rebecca stirring upstairs somewhere?
No, the only day of the year I have been here, Rebecca is not managing everybody's business up there.
Oh, no, this has got to stop. Rebecca, come down and eat your breakfast.
Morning, everybody. Only 5 more hours to live.
George Gibbs, where are you going?
Stephanie and Costa drives to see my girl.
Now, you put on your overshoes. You're going to catch a cold and cough all through the service.
Oh, Ma, it's just a step. Morning, Mother Webb.
Oh, goodness, George, you frightened me. Now, I can let you in for a minute, but you know I can't ask you in.
Why not?
George, you know the rule as well as I do. The groom can't see his bride on his wedding day, at least not until they're in church.
Oh, that's just a superstition.
Come on, Charles! Willing to follow it, George. You don't want to be the first to fly in the face of superstition.
Good morning, George.
Good morning, Mr. Webb.
Now, George, wakened up yet.
Emily's asleep.
Of course she is. We were up all night sewing and packing. Now, George, I'm going to tell you what I'll do. I'll go upstairs and make sure that Emily doesn't come down and surprise you. But be quick about it. You can drink your coffee, too. There's some bacon.
Well, George, how are you?
Oh, fine, I'm fine. Miss Webb, what sense could there be in a superstition like that?
Well, you see, on a wedding day, a girl ought to be full of clothing, one thing after another. Don't you think that's probably it?
Yes, I never thought of that.
A girl ought to be mighty nervous on a wedding day.
I wish a fella could get married without all that marching up and down.
Yep, every man that's ever lived has felt that way about George, but it hasn't been any use. It's womenfolk who built it up for a while. All those good women standing shoulder to shoulder, making sure that knots tied in a mighty public way.
But you believe in it, don't you, Miss Webb?
Oh yes, oh yes. Don't you misunderstand me, my boy. Marriage is a wonderful thing, wonderful thing. And don't forget that.
No, sir. How old were you when you got married?
Well, you see, I'd taken a little more time to get settled, but Mrs. Webb, she wasn't much older than what Emily is. Oh, age has nothing to do with, compared to other things.
What were you going to say, Miss Webb?
Oh, was I going to say something? George, I was thinking of the other night some advice my father gave to me before I got married. Charles, he said, Charles, start off everything showing who's boss. Best thing to do is give an order, even if it doesn't make sense, just so she'll learn to obey. If your wife irritates you, her conversation or anything, best thing to do is get up and leave the house. Don't make it clear, he said. Oh no, and oh yes. Never ever let your wife know how much money you have. Never.
Well, Mr. Webb, I don't think I...
So I took the opposite side of my father's advice and been happy ever since. Let that be a lesson to you, George. Never take advice on personal matters. George, are you going to raise chickens on your farm?
What?
You're going to raise chickens on your farm.
Uncle excited about...
A book came into my office the other day, and it was on the fellow system of raising chickens. And I was thinking of me and you starting a small way in the backyard. Maybe put an incubator in the cellar.
Oh, Charles, are you talking about that old incubator again? I thought you'd be talking about things worthwhile.
Well, Myrtle, if you want to give the boys some advice, I'll just leave you alone with them. I'll just go upstairs.
I'm sorry, George, you have to go. Emily sends you her love, but she does not want to leave either of you. Goodbye.
Well, Myrtle, have you ever heard about the older superstition?
What do you mean, Charles?
Well, no father-in-law should see anyone related to it or near it. Now remember that.
Now, I'm going to interrupt here again. I'm sure you're all sick and tired of it now, but it's my pleasure. Now, I want to know how this wedding, this plan to spend a lifetime together, I want to know how it happened. So we're going to skip a few hours, or we're going to skip back a few days, or a few months, I'm not quite sure. And we're going to see the conversation that they had when, well, as the saying goes, they were meant for each other. Now, George Gibbs has just been elected class president, and in June, that means he'll be president of the senior class all next year. And Emily has just been elected secretary and treasurer, and I don't have to tell you how important that is. Here they are coming out of high school now.
I can't, Louise. I gotta get home. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, Ernestine. Can you come over after supper and practice Latin? Isn't that Syria the worst thing? Tell your mother you have to. Goodbye. Bye, Helen. Goodbye, Fred.
Can I carry books home for you, Emma?
Why, thank you. It isn't far.
Excuse me a minute. Say, Bob, if I'm a little late, start practice anyway, and give her some long comments.
Goodbye, Lizzie.
Goodbye, Liz. I'm awfully glad you're elected too, Emily.
Thank you.
Emily, why are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
You've been treating me so funny lately.
Well, since you asked, I might as well say it. George, goodbye, Mrs. Corcoran.
Goodbye, Miss Corcoran. Well, what is it?
Well, I don't like the whole change that's come over you in the past year. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I've got to tell the truth and shame the devil.
A change? What do you mean?
Well, up to a year ago, I used to like you a lot. And I used to watch you as you did everything, because we've been friends so long. But then you began spending all your time at baseball, and you never stopped to speak to anybody anymore. Not even to your own family. You didn't. And, well, George, you got awful conceited and stuck up. And all the girls say so. You may not say so to your face, but that's what they say about you behind your back. And it hurts me to hear them say it, but I've got to agree with them a little. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I can't be sorry I said it.
I'm glad you said it, Emily. I I never thought that such a thing was happening to me. I guess it's hard for a fellow not to have false traits in his character.
I always expect a man to be perfect, and I think he should be.
Oh, I don't think it's possible to be perfect, Emily.
Well, my father is, and as far as I can see, your father is. There's no excuse why you shouldn't be too.
Well, I feel it's the other way around. That men aren't actually good, and girls are.
Well, you might as well know right now that I'm not perfect. It's not as easy for girls to be as perfect as a guy. With weak girls and more nervous. Now, I'm sorry I said all that about you. I don't know what made me say it. It's not true.
Emily,
It's not true. Now I can see it's not that important at all.
would you like an ice cream soda or something before you go home?
Well, thank you. I would.
Hello, Stu. How are you? Good afternoon, Mrs. Silver.
Why, hello, George. Hello, Emily. Why, Emily, what have you been crying about?
She just got an awful scare this morning. She almost got run over by a hardware store. Everybody says that Tom Huckins drives like a crazy man.
Why, you take a drink of water, Emily. You look all shook up. I tell you, you gotta look both ways before you cross Main Street these days. It's worse every year. What do you have?
I'll have strawberry frostbite. Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
No, Emily, have an ice cream soda. Two strawberry ice cream soda, Mr. Morgan.
Yes, sir. 2 strawberry ice cream sodas. Yes, sir, I can remember when a dog would go to sleep all day in the middle of Main Street and nothing come along and bother him. The state inspector was here yesterday. He's bringing in these automobiles. But the best thing to do is just stay home. So here you are, enjoy them. Oh yes, Ms. Ellis, what can I help you with?
They're so expensive.
No, don't you think of that. We're celebrating your election. You know what I'm celebrating?
No.
I'm celebrating because I have a friend who tells me all the things that ought to be told to me.
George, please don't think of that. I don't know what made me say it.
No, Emily, you stick to it. You'll see. I'm going to change so quickly. You bet I'm going to change. And Emily, I want to ask you a favor.
What?
Emily, if I go to state agricultural college next year, will you write me a letter once in a while?
I certainly will. I certainly will. It certainly seems that being gone 3 years, you got in touch with things. Maybe letters from Grover's Corners wouldn't be so interesting after a while. Grover's Corners is a very interesting place when you think of all New Hampshire. But I think it's a very nice town.
The day wouldn't come when I wouldn't want to know all the things that was happening here. I know that's true.
Well, I'll try to make my letters interesting.
You know, Emily, whenever I meet a farmer, I ask him if he thinks it's important to go to agricultural school to be a good farmer.
Why, George?
Yeah, and some of them even say it's a waste of time. You can get all those things in the pamphlets that Uncle sends out. And Uncle Luke's getting old. He's about ready for me to take over his farm tomorrow if I could.
Why?
Like you said, being gone all that time in other places and meeting other people. Gosh, if anything like that could happen, I don't want it to go away. I guess new people aren't any better than old ones. I bet they almost never are.
But George, maybe it's all important for you to learn all that about cattle judging and soils and those things. Of course, I don't know.
Emily, I'm going to make up my mind right now. I won't go. I'll tell Pa about it tonight.
But George, I don't see why you have to decide right now. It's a whole year away.
Look, Emily, I'm willing to tell you why I'm not going to agricultural school. I think that once you've found a person that you're very fond of, I mean, a person who's fond of you too, and likes you enough to be interested in your character, well, I think that's just as important as agricultural school is, and even more so. That's what I think.
I think it's awful important too.
Look, Emily, I'm glad you spoke to me about that fault in my character. What you said was right, but there was one thing wrong. And that's when you said for a whole year I wasn't noticing people. And you, for instance, why you say you were watching me when I did everything, I was doing the same about you all the time. I always made sure where you were sitting on the pictures and who you were with. And for 3 days now, I've been trying to walk home with you, but something's always gotten in the way. Yesterday, I was standing over the wall waiting for you, and you walked home with this corker.
Why, George, life's awful funny. Why, how could I have known? I thought.
Listen, Emily, for the past years, I found that you're... Look, I'll walk you home. Come on.
Well, now we're ready to get on with the wedding. You see, there are a lot of things that go on during a wedding. There are a lot of thoughts that go on during a wedding. And of course, we can't fit them all into this wedding, especially one here at Grover's Corners, where they're awfully plain and short. From right now, the play gets pretty serious. Now, in this wedding, I'm going to play the minister. Now, some churches say that marriage is a sacrament. I don't quite know what that means, but I think I can guess. Like Mrs. Webb said a few minutes ago, people are made to live 2 by 2. And as the stage gets ready for our wedding, we'll see what she means by that. Hey, that's enough of that. There used to be an awful lot of that kind of stuff at weddings. People say we're more civilized.
George, what's the matter?
Ma, I don't want to grow old. Why is everybody pushing me so?
Why, George, you wanted it.
No, Ma, listen to me.
No, George, you're a man now.
The last time I asked you, Ma, all I want to do is be a fellow.
George, if anyone should hear you, I'm so ashamed of you.
What? Where's Emily?
Let me catch my breath a minute.
Cheer up, Ma, I'm getting married. Listen, Ma. Now you say Thursday nights. Every Thursday night, Emily and I are coming over. You'll see. Come on, Ma, we gotta get ready for this.
I never felt so alone my whole life. When George over there, I hate him.
George, will you come over here a minute?
To you, George, take this woman, Emily, to be your wedded wife, to love and to have.
Perfectly lovely wedding. Loveliest wedding I've ever been to. I do love a good wedding, don't you? Doesn't she make a lovely bride?
And to you, Emily, take this man, George, to be your wedded husband.
Don't know when I've been to such a lovely wedding, but I always cry. Don't know why, but I always cry. I just love to see young people happy, don't you? I think it's lovely. Don't they make a lovely couple? I just love seeing young people happy. I always say happiness. That's the great thing. That's part of it, to be happy.
9 years have gone by. It's the summer of 1913. We're at our local cemetery, as you can see. Over there are the old gravestones, 1670, 1680. Strong-minded people that came a long way to be independent. A little further ways over are the Civil War veterans. Boys who thought that the Union ought to be kept together, even though they never saw 40 miles of themselves. And right here are the newest additions to our cemetery. As you can see, there are a few familiar faces here. Mrs. Gibbs, Simon Stimson, who was the organist at the Congregational Church, and Mrs. Soames, who loved the wedding so, do you remember? Oh, and Editor Webb's boy, whose appendix burst while I was on a trip to North Conway. Yeah, a lot of sorrow was kind of quieted down on top of this hill. But there are a lot of living people up here, too. There's Joe Stoddard, our undertaker, who's supervising a new made grave. And here comes the Grover's Corners boy who left town to go out west.
Good afternoon, Joe Stoddard. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Let me see now. Do I know you? I'm Sam Craig. Gracious sakes alive. Of all people, I should have known you'd be back from the funeral. You've been away a long time, Sam.
Yes, I've been away over 12 years. I've been business out in Buffalo now, Joe. But I was in the East when I got the news of my cousin's death. So I thought I'd combine things a little.
say, Samuel.
Yes.
Yes. I always say I hate to supervise when a young person is taken. We'll be here in a few minutes now. I just come here early today because my son was supervising at home.
Oh, Farmer Cardi, I used to do chores from after school. You're the lumbago.
Yes, we brought Farmer Cardi here a number of years ago now.
Why, this is my Aunt Julia. I've forgotten that she, of course.
Yes, Dr. Eames lost his life 2-3 years ago, about this time. She's another pretty bad for her.
That's my sister Carrie's boy, Sam Craig.
I'm always uncomfortable when they're around.
Do you choose your own verses much, Joe?
No, not usual. Mostly read the verse.
Doesn't sound like Aunt Julia. There aren't many of those Hershey sisters left now. Let me see, I wanted to look at my father's and mother's.
Over there with the Craigs, Avenue F.
Joe, what did she die of?
Who?
My cousin.
Oh, didn't you know? Had some trouble bringing a baby to the world. First a second though. He's a little boy about 4 years old.
The grave's going to be over there?
Yes, there ain't much more room over here among the gates, so they're opening up.
Here, just rest yourself. They'll be gone soon.
Oh, Papa, remember that was my favorite hymn. Oh, how I wish I'd been here a long time. I don't like being new here. How do you do, Mr. Simpson?
How do you do, Emily?
Mother Gibbs, me and George have made that Farmington just the best place you ever saw. We thought about you all the time. We wanted to show you the new barn and the Great Lawn Cement drinking fountain we bought for the stock. We bought it out of the money you left us.
I did?
Why the legacy you left us? Why, it was over $350.
Yes.
There's a patent device on the drinking fountain, so it never overflows, and it never sinks below a certain mark it has there. It's fine. It won't be the same to George without me. But it's a lovely farm. Like people don't understand, do they?
No, dear, not very much.
They sort of shut up in little boxes, aren't they? I feel I know them last 1,000 years. My boy is spending the day at Mrs. Carter's house. Oh, Mr. Carter, my little boy is spending the day at your house.
Is he?
Why, yes, he loves it there. Mother Gibbs, we have a Ford, too. I don't drive it, though. Mother Gibbs, when does this feeling go away of being one of them? When does it?
Dear, just rest yourself.
Look, it's over. They're going. Mother Gibbs, one can go back there, can't they?
Yes, of course you can, Emily.
I know what I'm feeling. We can all live over again.
Emily, don't.
Emily, don't. It's not what you think it'd be.
But it's true, isn't it? We can go back there and live all those days over again.
Yes, some have tried, but they soon come back here.
But I won't choose to live over a sad day. I'll choose a happy one. I'll choose the day I first knew I loved George. Why should that be painful?
You not only live it, but you watch yourself living it.
Yes.
And you know what they down there don't. You see the future. You know what's going to happen.
Yes, but is that painful? Why?
Emily, once you've been here longer, you'll understand that our life here is to forget about what is in the past and to look for what is ahead. Once you've been here longer, you'll understand.
But how can I ever forget that life? It's all I had. It's all I know.
Emily, it really isn't wise.
But it's something I must do for myself. I'll choose a happy day anyway.
No, at least choose the most unimportant day in your life.
Then it can't be since I was married, or since the baby was born. I can choose a birthday, can't I? I choose my 12th birthday.
All right, February 11th, 1899. You want any special time of day?
Oh, I want the whole day.
All right, we'll begin at dawn. Remember, it's been snowing for a few days now, but they'll be clearing up the streets and the sidewalks pretty soon.
Why? There's Main Street. And there's Mr. Morgan's drugstore. That's the livery stable.
Yes, it's 1899. This is 14 years ago.
There's a town I knew as a little girl. There's the old white fence that used to be around my house. Oh, I'd forgotten that. Oh, I loved it so.
Yes, your mother will be coming downstairs soon to make breakfast.
Will she?
And your father's coming back on the early morning train. He'd been away to his college in Clinton, Ohio.
No.
Yeah, he went to his old college to make a speech.
Look, there's Howie Newsom. There's that policeman. But he's dead. He died.
Yeah, Bessie. Morning, Bill.
Morning, Howie.
You're up early.
Been rescuing a party down there froze to death down by Polish Town there. Got drunk and lay out in the snowdrifts. Thought he was in bed when I suck him.
And there's Joe Crowell.
Wally, Emily, time to get up. Emily, you can come and dress by the kitchen fire if you like, but be quick about it. Oh, no, Mr. Newsom, move, it's cold out.
It's got to blow by my bar, Mrs. Webb.
Think of it, keep yourself wrapped up.
I can't find my blue pair of it anywhere.
Just open your eyes, dear. I laid it out on your dresser special. If it was a snake, it would bite you.
Yes, yes.
Morning, Bill.
Morning, Mr. Webb.
Just been back visiting my old state college. How's it been here? Any trouble?
Well, I was called up this morning to rescue a Polish fellow. Down there froze to death he was.
You must get in the paper.
Funny.
Papa?
Good morning, Mother.
Oh, how did it go, Charles?
Oh, fine, I guess. I've told a few things here. How's everything?
Nothing special's happened, but it's been right cold. How Newsom says it's 10 below over at his barn.
At Hamlin College, the ears are falling off them, too.
The paper had no mistakes in it that I could notice.
That's good.
Oh, Charles, it's Emily's birthday. Did you remember to get her something special?
Yes, I've got something here. Where's my girl? Where's my birthday girl?
Oh, Charles, don't interrupt her now. She's slow enough as it is. Come on, children.
I can't bear it. They're so young and beautiful. Why did they ever have to get old? Oh, Mama, I'm here. I'm grown up, Mama. Wait, I can't look at everything hard enough. I love you all, everything.
Good morning, Mama.
Oh, good morning, and a very happy birthday to my girl, and many happy returns. There's some surprises waiting for you on the kitchen table.
Oh, Mama, you shouldn't have.
I can't. I can't.
But birthday or no birthday, I want you to chew your bacon good and slow. I want you to grow up and be a good, strong girl. That and the yellow paper is from your Aunt Carrie. And I guess you can think who brought the postcard album? Oh, that George Gibbs. Must have come over pretty early in the cold. It was right nice of him.
Oh, George, I'd forgotten that.
Chew that bacon good and slow. It'll keep you warm on a cold day.
Oh, Mama, just look at me one minute like you really saw me, Mama. 14 years have gone by. I'm dead. I married George Gibbs, Mama. Wally's dead, too. His appendix burst on a camping trip to North Conway. But just for one moment, we're all happy. Just for one moment, we're all together. Let's look at one another.
Oh, and that in the blue paper is something I found in the attic among your grandmother's things. You're old enough now to wear it, and I thought you'd like it.
And this is from you. Why, Mama? It's lovely, and it's just what I always wanted. It's beautiful.
Yes, hunted all over for it. Your Aunt Nora couldn't find one in Concord, so I had to send her all the way up to Boston. Oh, and Wally has something for you, too. He made it in manual training class, and he's very proud about it, so make a big fuss about it. And your father has something for you, too, but I'm not really sure what it is. Shh, here he comes.
Where's my girl? Where's my birthday girl?
I can't go on. It goes so fast. We don't have time to look at one another anymore. I didn't realize. So all that goes on and we've never noticed it. Take me back up the hill to my grave. But first, wait. One more look. Goodbye. Goodbye, world. Goodbye, Grover's Corners, Mama and Papa. Goodbye to clocks ticking and Mama's sunflowers and hot baths and new iron dresses and food and coffee and sleeping and waking up. Oh, Earth, you're too wonderful for anybody to ever realize you. People ever realize life, how they live it, every minute?
This
saints and poets, maybe, they do some, but not usually.
I'm ready to go back.
Were you happy?
Oh, Mother Gibbs, I shouldn't listen to you.
My boy Joe knew the song. He used to say to millions of views we have to spend a lot to get to her. It don't seem like a body can believe her. That's what he used to say. Millions of views.
Goodness, that ain't no way to behave.
He ought to be home.
It's George.
Dear, rest yourself.
Mother Gibbs.
Yes, Emily?
They don't understand, do they?
No, dear, they don't understand.
Most of the lights are out down in Rover's Corners. No, there's Shorty Hawkins down at the depot. Just watched the Albany train go by. And there are the stars up in the sky, doing their old crisscross journeys. Scientists haven't settled that matter yet, but they think that there's either chalk or fire up there. They're not quite sure. But it's every 16 hours, someone has to lay down and get a rest, or else there's just nothing in the morning. Hmm, 11 o'clock now here in Grover's Corners. You all get a good night's rest now. Good night.